first tell us what is going on in Shanghai.
The government introduced a new rule, which waste now is to be sorted into 4 main categories. Household waste.
Okay.
So mainly leftovers from food, scraps, things like that. And then there's residual waste, which is anything which I believe is used that you wouldn't necessarily use again, you wouldn't recycle. Then there's hazardous waste, anything that would kill you.
Yeah.
And then finally there's recyclable waste, things that can be used again. So at the moment there are new bins, new systems, new policies, and it's all being implemented in this last month in Shanghai.
There's another additional policies adding up to this sorting policies. So that was suggested only allowed 4 hours for every day to collecting. So in the whole community, that allowed you to dispose of your waste.
How is it changing your life?
I do have to spend more time to sort the waste coming from food delivery. For several times, I have to reach out to my phone, to those apps and mini programs for help to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So basically, I have to spend 20 or 30 minutes per day on these waste sorting things. But it's not a big deal. I mean, I know it's part of my responsibility as a citizen to do this.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Crossover. I'm Si Xiaojun.
Hello from Beijing, I'm Louisa Lee.
We're continuing this topic of garbage sorting, about this new policy recently introduced in Shanghai. And again, like we said, we're being eco-friendly because we have not changed our
outfit. So we'll be wearing the same thing.
No, basically, we're doing it 2 episodes in 1 taping. That is why. That's why.
I only have
exactly.
I mean, we have so much to talk about still.
Yeah, and garbage sorting, we talked about the 4 different categories. We talked about the timing slots, and then we talked about
how it's affecting everyone's lives.
Exactly. Moving on, because this is a new policy, and that means you have to make some efforts to meet the requirements of this new policy. That means there will be some costs involved. What kind of costs?
I think there are punishments, like for individuals.
Fines.
Yeah, I think it's around 100, 200 yuan. I'm
when,
not sure.
who,
and who's enforcing it?
how
I
is
mean,
it going
who's
to be
looking through
enforced?
your trash?
Actually, I haven't heard of any cases of punishment.
No one being fined?
In the news or from my friends. This is quite different. But I think punishment is based on enforcement, and since there's little enforcement in my neighborhood, so it's hard,
there will be
it's hard
people
to say.
standing next to the bins and checking whether you're following the rules or not. It is
There will
what
be
is
some
happening.
volunteers
Volunteers,
every communities. Yeah, some
volunteers from the same community.
Yeah, same community.
They will fine you.
They will fine. Yeah. How
do they do sampling,
no,
or they check?
They check.
All the.
They guide
bags.
you how to put it in the right way. If you don't know, you have confusing questions,
you can
so
ask them.
you can ask
they
them.
then report you if you don't.
Yeah.
And you get the fine from the police.
I haven't heard of any, because previously, not long ago, Shanghai was cracking down on jaywalking. So back then, I think I saw 2 or 3 posts on WeChat. Some of my friends have received the ticket for the fine for jaywalking. In that case, I feel that it's close to me. It's something personal, and if I myself do jaywalking, it would have consequences. But in the case of waste sorting, I haven't heard of any. So.
But there is the possibility. The policy is still there.
Yeah, the
so
policy is still there.
how big is the fine we're talking about?
200 RMB.
200.
For individuals.
For an individual.
So individuals pay one amount, companies pay another. The actual companies that job are to collect and take the garbage away.
The waste management.
The waste management companies can be fined up to 500,000 if they don't follow the rules.
The wrongdoing is you didn't sort the garbage, you didn't put them
Putting
in the
wrong
right
stuff
bin,
in the wrong boxes.
Yeah.
Wrong boxes, and you'll be fined because you were caught by the volunteers, right? In
if
the
you
community.
refuse to do it.
Or the wrong timing. So it's all punishable. You sure? You're not quite sure?
Yeah, I never have experienced this kind of wrong timing disposal punishment things. I guess people see that recycle area closed, that they just go back. Yeah, probably we will have someone just leave the garbage outside of that.
But according to the policy, it's punishable.
It's punishable.
Yeah.
Financially.
Yeah, it's a
So
financial.
there will be 200 kwai if you violate the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, many friends before this new Shanghai garbage sorting regulation, and people are a little bit skeptical. People are assured that the government want to put the fine there because the government want to enforce it. But what we discuss is the cost of the government doing this monitor the wrongdoing
Okay.
and exercise the fine.
That part is even more costly.
Right.
than the cost of
Probably.
the
Yeah. You probably need to hire people to monitor.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's
you have
the problem.
volunteers, right? You have
Yeah.
volunteers.
But they don't have the right to punish
actually,
anyone.
Oh, right.
But some of my friends, maybe they are AI people or the new tech people,
Ooh.
they said that whether we can install a camera.
Right, you could also
They do have
that.
camera.
put
They
new
do have
cameras around
cameras.
certain areas. We
Yeah.
got 2 new cameras.
And recently, I heard a story in Beijing, not in Shanghai,
That's
in
also I heard. I
Beijing.
think I know which one you're talking about. The face recognition.
Right. Yes.
Oh.
That's what
Yeah.
they said. They're,
So
I don't know
before
if it's a rumor.
you dump your garbage.
They know who did it,
Yes.
They know who did it.
But,
and that's going to affect your credit,
Yeah.
social credit.
In the
But the
future,
question
you
is
can
that
leave.
if they recognize that not even 10 people dump things there, but how they can identify
As
which one is
associated.
wrongdoing, which one is not
They have the camera.
wrongdoing? Yeah,
They can recognize your face.
But you
So
might-
next time I will be wearing a mask.
But no, you need to, the machine need to linkage your image and your garbage.
Right.
So they have
And they
loads
would
of
have to know
cameras.
what's inside that bag.
Ah,
Right.
okay.
If
recognize
everyone
the
goes with a
face
black bin
and
liner
the
to
trash.
the
at
Okay,
the same
install a
time.
scanner.
Yes.
So anyway, it's the cost of monitoring
Yeah, so
exercise.
there will
right?
be fines, but it's still rather
Cost.
difficult to enforce them.
But it's not designed to generate revenue. This is not a way of the government raising
No.
money. It's trying to encourage
Right.
your behaviour. The
From a
fine,
habit.
it's going to cost. The fine is
Yeah.
probably not going to be the most thing, but it's enough. Even if you know
Right.
one person or 2 people that
Yeah.
are fine, you'll change your behaviour. Like, oh,
Yeah.
The same with the jaywalking thing. You only have to know 3 people who get caught, and then you're like,
It's a
actually, okay,
reminder.
I'll be a bit more cautious. So
I doubt it.
encourages.
You know, I'm still kind of a, I don't know. I mean, just take another look at this smoking ban policy. It's been introduced in Beijing. It's very rigid, no smoking whatsoever in any public space. Well, and for the first 2 months, yes, and there were fines too, tickets given to the restaurants, and if you didn't implement the policy. But look, the restaurants now, there are people smoking, and the restaurants are not doing much, and no fines, nothing's happening. So do you think this is the same thing is going
You
to
need
happen to this?
consistency, and you need to back people up. If the first 2 months, yeah, the restaurant says stop smoking, you don't, and you get a fine, the police officer comes and deals with it. If after 2 months you stop caring, why is the restaurant going to kick out a customer, lose money, lose
Exactly.
face,
Yes.
and for something they don't necessarily care about, particularly if other people in the restaurant also want to smoke, or the people who work in the restaurant want to smoke, and it's not considered an issue. You've got to be consistent, you've got to follow up, and you've got to make it an
Yeah.
actual change, because, yeah, people know, I'll wait for a month, and then I'll go back to doing what I did before. But if you're consistent, if you keep it up, then it will change. The seatbelts in Shanghai changed because they were consistent. They pulled people over. They gave fines. They said, you must wear your seatbelt. And they continually did it, and now people will tell you, as soon as you get in their car, taxi or Didi, put your seatbelt on.
The enforcement.
The enforcement doesn't have to be extreme, but it has to be consistent.
Yeah.
As an individual, also need to speak it out. If you don't feel comfortable with that, and you should say something,
Yeah.
and they will know. If no one say that, they
But
just
that's the cultural thing.
To create a kind of peer pressure. So,
Yeah, but you know, that's the cultural thing. Would you? I mean, you probably would.
Yes,
You probably would,
yeah.
but not everyone would.
But if you are going to do it, for anyone, be polite. If you get annoyed
Yeah.
and angry, then you're just going to cause an argument. But
Yeah.
we had something the other day. We're sitting eating lunch. By the way, actually, the smoking for me, I think it's been pretty good. I haven't seen many. There's a few smaller restaurants where I'm seeing it happening. But another thing, and this is probably just me getting annoyed by it, but people playing loud music or annoying games when you're sitting in a restaurant, and you've
Or
got in
in a
there after
high-speed
like
train.
a hard day's work, and you want to go and like relax at lunchtime or in the
Yeah.
evening, and you sit down, and then someone's got a really annoying noise going on.
Yeah, they want to share it with you.
Yeah. I'm so thankful for them. But I started singing a stupid song, going, "Oh, don't you just really love the sound of annoying sounds playing in your ear," or something like that. And my friend, who's Chinese, just leaned over to the mother and went, "Could you turn off the sounds on your kid's game?" And She did it straight away.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And it took just one person. There was probably the whole restaurant thinking,
No one
Yeah.
say anything.
this is really annoying. Can someone turn that off? Can
Yeah.
someone give that
Yeah.
kid earphones? And it just takes someone just saying one thing. And no one should be worried that the person's going to get mad at them. If that person does get mad at them, then that's that person's fault, not the person who said, can you...
Well,
Can you
that
stop
might happen.
smoking?
I mean, that's one side of it. But again, I mean, that's the challenge, right? We can see.
And that's community again.
But I
The
think
thing we were coming back to
the
earlier.
good news is that I have seen that kind of peer pressure, because the other day I ran into a lady and a boy at the garbage collection center in my neighborhood, and the lady, well, she was not a volunteer, but she was like supervising the boy to do the waste sorting.
That's the
So
volunteer. A real volunteer.
The peer pressure is there. So actually, I think most of us, when we are dumping our waste today, we will take a quick glimpse of how others are doing. So this is the good news.
Yeah.
Can we look at these things also from another perspective? We look at the clock side and punishment, etc., but whether we can also provide incentive to that.
Yeah, carrot.
She just said she spent 25 minutes extra a day just to sort this garbage.
Yeah.
And I think the government can also think about a scheme that can reward you. And I did read the news saying that the grandma, etc., they spend time and they can get some green points.
Yeah, points.
With this green points, accumulated green points, they can
Use
buy
points.
rice
Yeah,
or
exchange for
cooking
something.
oil, exchange something like that.
Do you need a camera in your kitchen then?
No.
Monitoring what you do at home?
But
We don't know.
At least for maybe for the older
Yeah, but
generation.
that's a thought. Yeah.
I mean, in the States, when you recycle bottles, you get money back.
All right,
That's
yeah.
also a way to do it. Instead of having people collecting it, do it yourself. I mean, if you implement machines where you put bottles in and you get money back, I think a lot of people would do it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I have a bag of bottles. I have a bag of used batteries. I don't know where to throw them.
I mean, they should have facilities where you can just drive to one location with all these different
That's the problem.
We have bottle
recycle
banks
categories.
in the UK, and they separated by
Exactly.
colour as well.
We
so
don't
you
really
put them
have
all in.
Yeah, the facility where you can just recycle everything.
But I mean, fine, punishment, financial punishment, that's one side of it. But what about the other side, like the volunteers? I mean, they are okay if they are real volunteers, that's one thing. But if there are hired volunteers or paid, not volunteers, but employees to some extent, then that's going to involve some costs too. Who is going to pay them for that service?
Well, volunteers.
They're volunteers.
Volunteers
I think
won't
they're not
get cash paid,
paid.
that's for sure. But they're gonna have some award from the community by some tickets for the
Green points.
like green points and the performance shoes or some good respect win from the community, something like that. But the other side of the cost, I think mainly is coming from the new waste disposal site. They're gathering all the bins together.
The new bins.
The new locations.
New
In some,
locations.
yeah, the neighborhood need to build up some locations. According to the regulations, every 300 to 500 houses will be required to establish one gathering disposal site. So that will be new for all the neighborhood, for the old ones.
Who is going
because,
to pay that?
I guess our property
The
foundations,
community.
the community would
That
pay
means
for
the
that.
residents of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
community.
yeah. So it's not easily just a concrete floor and shelters for that. That will be required for the hand wash point and electrical things for the camera installation, something like that. So,
I see.
and they need to arrange the sewage piping things for that waste area.
And
So-
individuals too? What do they need to pay? Bags, right? And the bins
And
of
four
different
bins
categories.
now.
For the bins at home.
Yeah,
Well, that's what we plan in the kitchen,
that's
have four
another
separate
part.
bins.
Yeah,
Although
the
hazardous
extra
waste
bins
is rare
at
enough.
home. Yeah, exactly.
I just use a cardboard box for the recyclables, so
Yeah.
there's no additional extra expense for me so far.
That's true. There's plenty of containers around. Like for the amount of glass that I will go through in a month, I think I have one jar. It's not something I use a lot. Or if it's something like soy sauce, it takes a long time to use it. I'm not going to drink soy sauce, putting a bit in. So that lasts for a long time. So yeah, glass is not something I'm like, oh, I need to worry about storing
Beer.
this. I tend not to drink a lot at home. I don't know if that's just because it's a slippery slope.
After the regulation was implemented,
or I think it's more that my girlfriend got me a cocktail book thing, and she likes cocktails and stuff.
So it's changing your life, you know?
Yeah, but not for reasons of recycling. It's not, oh, this whiskey sour is non-wasting.
Right. But somehow it sounds like, you know, your life is not, you know, remains the same pretty much.
Basically the same.
Exactly, like before the policy is introduced.
Yeah.
So is it the case with people of your age?
Some of my friends have been complaining about the time frame thing.
Okay.
But as for waste sorting, I don't think so.
And costs?
Not really.
Paid by the parents anyway.
Yeah, and because the garbage bins will not cost you a lot, so it's all acceptable. Yeah.
We should sell different concepts to different generations.
Okay.
For the younger generation, it's a fashionable thing.
Fashionable.
It's popular.
Okay.
So this is what President Xi Jinping said in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make it popular. But for the older generation, I think you can have green points in return in exchange for cooking oil.
And then also for the older generation, for the grandparents wanting to be teaching their kids, it can be a little outing every day down within and talking about how things are made and why things are being recycled and put in these different bins.
So take them to the bin house instead of the garden.
Yeah,
every day.
It is smelly.
Kids going, yeah, to the bins, and they all run outside.
Yeah, let's take a break. We'll continue our discussion after that.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
In our family, we're not yet familiar with the right way to sort trash, so we printed out the guide and pasted it on our fridge.
Actually, for us wage earners, it is particularly inconvenient because if we work overtime, we might miss the hours.
Now, during lunch break at work, we have to either finish all our food or throw away the leftovers separately. It's also hard.
Our compound is doing pretty well. The waste drop-off points are all very clean, and there are aunties advising and supervising us there.
Gradually we got more familiar with it. Now it's better than before. I haven't got problems in sorting my trash, but if I do, they will let me know the right way.
Welcome back to the studio. Now we want to talk about responsibility. Whose responsibility is it?
But before that, there is one more thing about the costs. What about we introduce even stricter policy about the costs? Say, like we mentioned earlier, if you want to dispose your couch, you have to pay for them. TV, any digital stuff, you need to pay for disposing your garbage, say. Do you think this policy is going to work, Carrie, in China?
Yes, I think that's the way to go. I think it takes steps because right now it's a good beginning for everybody to understand that what we can do and how can we learn from the mistakes. And also, I think it's a really good sign right now.
So this is what is happening now in many countries, right? In Japan, they have to pay. They have to make a call, right? And in the UK too?
Yeah, you call the council for
large
waste.
And you pay?
Depends what it is, but generally, yeah, you pay a fee.
How much?
I don't know. I don't get rid of a lot of sofas in the UK.
and also in the US, you have to pay monthly for waste management service.
Yeah.
But we too, right? I mean,
to collect your trash.
It's very little money in China.
No?
Very little.
You don't?
Yeah.
We do.
I think probably part of your property management fee.
Yeah, it's included.
Right.
But we pay like every month.
Well, this is better. We pay without realizing we're paying. And on the table, we see something else. What do we have here?
So we have all the things that we use in our day-to-day life. And for example, this is a toothbrush, and they're bamboo, and it's completely biodegradable. So you can use it for about 3 months. So the bamboo is more environmental materials compared to wood because they grow much faster and need less water. Yeah, and then the Brussels is the horsehair. So horse needs to shave the hair, otherwise it's so hot in the summer. So they reuse the horsehair. And after 3 months, either you can put it, when you're planting something, you can have a sign on it. So like this is a vegetable like things, and then also you can just completely bury.
So which category? Residual or recyclable?
Kitchen waste.
Kitchen waste.
It should be. The thing is, though, it depends what this kitchen waste is going to be used for, because as far as I know, people are talking about pigs. So if pigs are going to be eating it, then it wouldn't go into it. But it can go into...
I think anything bamboo has to go in residual, not household waste.
Residue.
Yeah,
Right.
bamboo's listed as a...
So it is biodegradable?
Yes,
fully biodegradable.
completely.
Yeah.
And this is another interesting item, and it's a menstrual cup. So you can, it's reusable, so you can use it for about 10 to 12 years. And they're saving money, and also they're more hygiene compared to the
and that
reusable.
too.
So, yeah, and this one is a menstrual pad, so it's a fabric. It's an organic cotton. It's also, you can use it for about 50 times, which is 2 years. Yeah, and this is 12 years. So if you buy this,
you just wash it yourself.
Would you?
Yeah.
It's like I'm a very eco-friendly person, but that would test my limit a little bit.
I think
I have to think about it.
This one is like easy.
I think it's also about getting used to it, you know.
Yeah, getting used to it.
What about you?
To get started.
Not really, because I'm already used to the regular sanitary pads. So, well, but actually, I think moon cups is trendy nowadays.
Trendy?
Yeah.
For younger generation.
Many of my friends want to try it, but well, in some cases, they need more instructions and education.
Those are for the zero waste of someone who's gone quite a few steps.
Yeah.
But something like this should be in everyone's house.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry it around with you all day. This is a set of 3. It's small, medium, and large. It's all organic cotton. They're reusable bags for buying fruit and vegetables.
You know, parent generation, they used to use a lot of the kind of a nest bag.
Yeah, for like melon.
It's really, really good. And we don't see that. They use even less material than this.
Yeah. So these are reusable bottles and stainless steel. So it's reusable, and it's also a good weapon if something happens.
Oh yes.
I've been hit with this many times.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever I go out, I just bring this with me, and if you want to buy drinks, this is a reusable chopsticks utensil. So every day I'll bring this with me, because sometimes I might go to a restaurant, they don't have a reusable chopstick, so I can use mine. Yeah. And like stainless steel straws is also very easy.
You use a lot of utensils, huh?
Yeah. In case like we have someone going with me, like Jill don't have a chopstick, so he can use the fork. Yeah.
How are you going to clean up the inside of the straws?
So inside I have a straw brush.
They have a little brush that comes with it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Because I also have a stainless straw.
Right?
Yeah.
What's in the glass bottle?
This glass jar is all our waste for about like last 2 months.
2 months.
Yes, waste that cannot be recycled or.
That's impressive.
So all of those items we generate
plastic, right? It's plastic
many
bags.
plastics. So this the respand is like last month, 1 month ago. We went to a Great Wall Festival, and we have this respond.
But again, what's impressive is this is from 2 months.
Wow.
Modern life.
We have another 2 jars of waste, like 2017 for like 3 months, 2 people.
Just you? Oh, 2 of you?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Are you going to keep all your waste for the last year?
We were wondering what to do with it, and then actually someone used it recently in kind of an art exhibition. So we've actually now found a way that we can start using these jars of waste. They're getting used as a way, like, this is what you can actually do. But yeah, we have nearly all of them since we started doing this in the summer we started summer 2017. We started putting our waste into jars, which we know is very strange, but we did it to just see how little we could produce.
So the bulk house obviously is encouraging this new lifestyle, trying to generate as little as waste as possible. But again, here comes this next question. Is it too much to ask individuals to take the responsibility of this campaign?
If you can feel the urgency, if you're doing such ways, you can help out yourself, help your next generation. You're gonna put some time to do that, put that on the top priority for your life. But if it's not so much close to your daily life, they probably give it up really soon. Once they raise up the topic, so they just follow that. Once it faded away, then they just forget it.
But if not individuals, whose responsibility is this?
Do you think it's the government's responsibility, company's responsibility, more than the other?
It's a mix.
It needs joint effort.
Yeah.
But I think because I myself believe in the idea that who produced the waste should clean it up. So we are not required to sort waste coming from other houses. So we are dealing with household waste. So we produce those waste, and we should take care of that. I think this is how environmental protection works. But generally speaking, I admire their courage. But this is really a tall order for most of the people. Yeah. But I think what we're doing in Shanghai right now is acceptable, especially for the young generation. So we are open to that.
I just wanted to say, in case there's anyone thinking that is insane, we should say that we started reducing our waste in the summer of 2016 after we watched a video about zero waste, and we were like, oh my god, yeah, we are ridiculous how much waste we produce every day. So we just started doing this extremely slowly. We first got ourselves a reusable bottle, then a reusable bag, and so on like that. So putting your waste into jar is not something you're going to do overnight or after 1 month. We did this by making small changes every couple of weeks across a whole year.
Okay. Again, this is about the responsibility. So who's...
I would agree with both Tozy and Mark. It is ultimately an individual responsibility. Thing the same with you made the change in your own house. It's going to be your kitchen. Nobody's going to come in and sort it for you. You need to take that first step. But you need there to be resources there. There's no point sorting all your waste if you go downstairs and there's just one bin. What's the point? Which is what I think happened for a long time in Shanghai. People thought, well, why? It just goes in one place, so why am I sorting it? And as Gary mentioned before, you have to make that choice. If you choose companies that use reusable materials or don't produce waste or don't deliver with very much packaging, all these kind of things, they will shift. Companies on their own are not going to do it. Their first point is to make money. And they're not moral arbiters of our choices. But if we start to say, you know what, no, I want a bag that I can take to the supermarket to carry my fruit, you will find more companies will say, okay, we'll provide that. We want that. If you say, no, I don't want a plastic bag, they'll stop giving them to you. I don't want a straw. But then you also need a government to say, yeah, we'll be consistent with this. We'll push this strategy. We'll nudge people in the right direction. We'll change behaviors. And as you say, it becomes normalized. And with grandparents, with your son. So I think it's a triangle.
After it has been introduced, I mean, from your friends or family, do you see that people are actually doing this on their own will? Or do you think it's just because the regulation has been implemented, so you have to do it?
I've noticed more people actually, like, going to university in the mornings, and people are like, oh, like, which does this go in? So it is having an effect, and people are...
In Japan, it seems they're going to extremes. It's just one bottle, mineral water bottle. The lid will go to one bin. The wrapping will go to another, and the bottle itself will go to another.
Have to clean them first.
In terms of the responsibility, I also want to comment on the business part, because I advised many business on corporate sustainability, and I think one of the important trend is the so-called extended producer's responsibility. So we call EPR. So that means that the company, as a producer, you still have sort of responsibility or even liability, even you sell out your product.
Yeah, I agree with
so
that.
That's quite important for, like, the beverage company, you need to take care of the plastic bottle, and the computer company, you need to take care of the computer after it is being used. Even for the car company, the automobile makers, they need to think about how to reuse and recycle the car at the end.
So in manufacturing, they're going to reduce using all these...
And the marketing as well.
And in marketing,
yes. They have a word for the manufacturing side. That's a product stewardship, right? They study how they manufacture the raw material, from the raw materials to the disposal side. So that's the companies. That's a third party. Besides the individuals and the government, the big enterprise, the manufacturing side, they need to find their opportunities in this kind of solutions about our lifestyles. So how they gonna contribute to that?
And also, if the government pushed in this way, then the company will strike for a better eco-design. Because that means that they will save costs when they recycle their products.
So some coffee shops that are now degrading the straws?
Right.
Yes.
Many places are now saying
not just coffee shops, like a lot of hotel chains are doing it.
So they do not offer, well, there seems to be a new policy introduced, not in Shanghai, or I don't know where. But in hotels in China, they do not offer free brushes. That was in Shanghai.
Also certain
is that why I've
hotels
got
in
no
Beijing.
toothbrushes anymore? I
They don't provide
used to have like a stack of toothbrushes, right? I'm going traveling, I'll just take one of the toothbrushes that I borrowed from a hotel. And
from before.
Ah, okay.
Not one of these. You're not taking one of these.
Actually, the last went for a wedding in just outside of Hangzhou, and the place
Just
we stayed in
only
had bamboo toothbrushes.
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't offer any, and they were in recycled cardboard packaging
good.
as well.
Yeah.
So all of the stuff they offered was eco-friendly. There were no plastic toothbrushes. I think the only thing that was plastic, I guess, was the container for the toothpaste.
What is happening? It's a new policy, but it seems to be reflecting a new trend, especially...
Well, people's attitudes change policy, policy changes company, which
Exactly.
changes people's attitudes, and it goes in a circle. Hopefully you move slowly in the right direction.
It's a whole system.
You have to force it before it becomes a habit.
Of course. People don't like change, and ultimately people will do what is convenient, what's easy, and what's cheap.
Yeah.
Every single time. And until you push back a little bit or make it more convenient and cheap to do something else, people won't change.
I think people are starting to be more conscious, and also they realize the benefits by reducing their waste or trying to be more conscious. It's actually saving more money because you don't keep to buying disposable items, and also you invest your time on something that more important, and also the environment is better because I think for lots of young people now they see more things and they hear more things. They understand about the environment is actually getting worse and worse, and all the plastic waste end up in the ocean, landfills, and then affect our food chains, and everything come to our body. So they don't want that happen to their next generation, so to be more conscious, want to change it now. So the benefits is actually quite a lot. It might take a little effort, but I think it's all worth it.
In the beginning, but when it becomes part of your lifestyle and your habit, then you don't really feel it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Notice that you spend less money, I guess.
Yeah, saving money.
Save money?
Yeah,
How
saving
much?
time.
How much? That's a very good question, huh?
Traveling, and also you have more space. Like, we don't have many things in our house, apartments, and so we don't have much time to organize, to maintaining, to store them.
And waste time cleaning the house all the time, so we've got very little things.
You don't make dust.
We don't. Yeah, we just suck it in every time. And that goes down the sewer. So it's fine.
So you never eat takeout food?
No, haven't since. Did we stop in 2016?
Yeah, never get food delivery. What if you're hungry in the middle of the night? No.
What? Did that happen to you?
Yes, it happens to me.
Time?
But is that you're genuinely hungry, or is it we live in a system that's so convenient to do that, though, so we do? If I went back to the UK, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
in
it's
my
also
hometown,
affordable.
you can't. Nobody's going to bring me French
You would survive.
But here, I'll
survive without that.
So many companies now are creating a problem. They're saying, this is a problem, and here is the solution. I won't name the particular coffee brand that has gone absolutely ballistic in the past couple of years. But I saw the CEO talk, and he said, yeah, Chinese people wanted their coffee much faster. First of all, they didn't. Second of all, they didn't even drink coffee. Okay, so many people were not drinking that much coffee back then. There weren't actually a need for this additional place.
That's a different topic.
No, but it's on this because it's about why do we have a waste problem? We have a waste problem due to false marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. False marketing is the reason. We could do the thing where you change the industries, but it's no point in changing the industries as the population increases and consumerism increases. But we're still going to have, the environment's not going to get better. It won't get better unless we change the marketing and get people to buy less stuff that they don't need with money they don't have.
So it's them to blame. Now, again, this is about the future because not only in Shanghai, it seems it's going to be introduced, well, 46 cities or even more cities
and Beijing should
in
be
the
next,
future.
right?
How this should be carried on, we'll see. Yeah, we'll continue our discussion after a short break. You're watching Crossover.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
With more than 20 million people, Beijing produces 26,000 tons of household waste a day. Basically, the Chinese capital classifies waste into 4 categories: kitchen waste, hazardous waste, recyclables, and other trash. 60% of the city is expected to implement garbage sorting by the end of this year, and 90% by 2020. At a high-end residence, seniors like Ding Ke-ying are adjusting the new sorting manner.
In the past, volunteers guided us on how to classify waste, so we've gradually got into the habit. Since last year, the system became smarter. I even learned how to download a mobile app online.
Now each household gets one special QR code for throwing out their waste. Here, the intelligent beings calculate garbage weight and help residents gain rewards by collecting points through the special app.
We joined hands with different communities through a competitive bidding process. Currently, we've worked with more than 120 communities citywide.
Communities say a second sorting is still needed for most garbage before disposal. But the raising public awareness is reshaping the overall picture.
Welcome back to the studio. And we've been talking about waste sorting here in Shanghai, but we want to talk about other cities other than Shanghai.
46.
Yeah.
So do you think the same rules will apply in all these different cities?
I heard they have some difference compared to cities. Yeah. Compared
How different?
To I don't know the details about that. But considering about the municipal investment, not all the cities has the similar disposal site like Shanghai city has. So they probably will make some adjustment according to their real situation.
What do you think it started in Shanghai, not in Beijing?
Shanghai has been the pilot zone for so many things.
Yeah.
It's a good testing ground. It's a large city. It's a modern city, big population.
Yeah.
If it works, then you can roll it out. If it fails, you can adjust it and change it.
But if it is a pilot program, you should start in a smaller city.
As Mark said, you need the resources to be able to deliver it.
When it goes to the topic of this garbage sorting, I think smaller cities is not very ideal because it requires a lot of infrastructure change. And infrastructure investment, you need to have money to invest in those infrastructure.
Again, that comes exactly the issue. If it requires that much investment from the government, or say only a city as wealthy as Shanghai could do it, then it's not feasible in other cities.
And in other cities. We don't know, but we'll see. But as far as I know, I don't think all the cities will follow the 4-category classification. Yeah, so maybe they will recyclable, non-recyclables. Maybe they will make the life easier.
And hazardous, that's obvious,
yeah. Also, if it's sponsored by a government, it's then easier to do because it's been delivered from the center, so they're bringing that investment infrastructure. Clearly, it must have a benefit to China to do it, otherwise there wouldn't be any point in pursuing this policy.
But what do you think? What do you think are the experiences that you can, other cities can learn from Shanghai?
I get what works, what doesn't, how long does it take, whether or not the timing thing works, whether or not 4 bins is the most sensible, whether or not to introduce composting, as they've mentioned as well. I think it's also pushing people to, as we said, reduce the amount of waste. So that has a benefit as well. You're not shipping as much, you're not transporting as much, you're not manufacturing as much that you don't need.
What about you? Where are you from originally?
Xiamen.
Xiamen. It's also a big city, coastal city. Do you think this will be introduced? How is this going to work in Xiamen?
I think Xiamen is one of the 45 cities that the new regulation is coming. And I'm very confident about my hometown. So, and I think the population there is also open-minded. So, and more importantly, Xiamen is a famous tourist destination. One of the most popular tourist destinations in China. So I think people also care a lot about the environment there. So I'm very confident that things will go smoothly there.
I can feel some pride in there.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they're planning to do. I heard there's going to be competition, right? And they're going to rank the cities after X number of years.
Competition too?
Yeah, they're going to get the cities to compete against each other.
Yeah, it's also
put it into a table.
I really like it's good for the government to check which province, which city is doing good, so they can analyze this guy's doing his job, like the authorities doing his job right.
Some green points for the government?
And we're quite happy for them to turn those green points into getting discounts on our products.
Okay, they're closely associated. What about this? I'm just wondering if there is any commercial ways of encouraging this or implementing this new policy. Remember, this bike sharing is encouraging people to use more bicycles instead of cars to protect the environment. Before, some governments, city governments, they've also introduced this bicycles to share by the public. It's only it didn't work out that successfully, not like the commercially run shared bikes.
We mentioned about, how you can recycle the bottles and you get a few cents back in the States. I mean, something like that, I don't know if it'll work here in China, or like you said earlier, how you can exchange your points for food or for oil or for rice, something like that along the line of that line to move forward this green movement.
This was tried on a really large scale already, and the company went bust very quickly because they tried to do it on too large of a scale too quickly, and they already made so much infrastructure, and I know the name of the company, but I won't name it, and they put all of these bins out with lots of high technology and lots of different categories, but then almost no one was using them, which was obvious. They shouldn't have done it at such a large scale, but because of China's such a different business game to everywhere else. Here it's like you must go like you've never seen before, otherwise someone will compete and beat you. And these people tried it, and they basically competed against themselves too much, worrying about a very soon competitor coming in. And now there is these kind of graveyards of bins all around the city in Beijing. I've seen where one of them is.
But the technology's there.
The technology's there.
Coming to go with that.
Maybe it'll work now. Maybe
you
it was
get
wrong
green
timing
points,
back then.
and okay, you accumulate them and you can spend them on whatever you want, or rice or oil, or it doesn't matter, but there's an incentive for people to do it. I think be careful with the bike sharing thing. The bike sharing thing made money because of the deposit. It's a very simple system. Everybody puts 300 RMB into a big bank account. They use the interest to pay to manufacture the bikes, and the rest is profit. So unless you're asking people to deposit for their
the business model is one thing, but what I'm saying is people are now using more shared bikes than before. It's because it's driven by these commercial companies.
It's become normalized.
Exactly.
So people do it. And
exactly.
It's the same with this policy. It becomes normal. People will just do it. But within a
That's
generation,
what I mean.
Nobody will throw anything in a normal bin. Like, oh, which bin?
And you did the same thing 20 years ago, but didn't succeed.
Yes.
How come this time it's going to succeed?
Well, at least we have new generation.
We're counting on you.
The reason, besides the generation, I think the people's minds are changing definitely. But besides these things, I think enforcement is still quite important. We will not be able to just rely on people's voluntarily doing these things. It's just too difficult. We have many friends, eco-friendly. Okay, fine, but they will not stick to all these things day to day. I really admire their work with zero waste, with 2 months or few months with that waste. But I think that's too much for normal individual.
You're saying thank you, but no thank you.
How about education? I mean, I learned how to recycle when I was a kid. From my memory, when I was a kid, I was drinking milk carton. So we had to wash it, we had to make it flat, and then we had to recycle it. I started really young, so it's embedded in my mind, so I have to recycle. So it's actually, for me, it's unnatural not to recycle. So how about education-wise? I mean, how can we improve on that? How can we educate the younger generation?
The public.
Yeah, the public.
I think that's very important. I recently just came across a friend who wanted to talk to me on green. He is actually have been working on the private equity firm for a long time, for over 10 years, and we lost contact for a long time. And suddenly he came to me, talk about green, and I asked why. He said 2 reasons. One is business reason. We are not going to talk on this. The second reason is because of his kids. Because his kids, has 2 kids all in school, and the information he get from his kids is that every day the kids talk about environment, the planet, and sustainable development goals of the United Nations, and he was somehow impacted by this. So the kids' education is very important, and the kids' education and even will influence the parents.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a big topic, and this is a new policy introduced only in Shanghai to be introduced in more cities, another 45 cities.
Coming.
And maybe another phase would be in the countryside, nationwide. We all agree that this is going to bring the benefits to our environment, to our lives, to our future. Extremely important. It might not be easy in the very beginning. Fingers crossed. We'll keep working on that. And thank you for coming to Crossover and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you for joining the show.
Thank you. And thank you for watching this episode. See you again next time.
Bye.